A result of the 2023 legislative session was the creation of a task force on aging to identify and develop state resources for an aging population. Recommendations from the group are due January 15th, 2025. Joining me to talk about the priorities of the group is the task force chair, Representative Ginny Klevorn. Thank you so much for joining me.
Shannon, it's great to be with you.
What was the impetus for the creation of this task force?
So as I've said in committee, this is really a grassroots campaign. It came from older Minnesotans who said, we are so far behind where we needed to be in the 2030 plan. We need legislative action to bring this issue to the fore. And so with that, Senator Morrison and I worked together. We developed the legislation with members of the community, and we brought that forward.
And that's Senator Kelly Morrison. Dr. Joe Gogler from the University of Minnesota Center for Healthy Aging and Innovation is a member of the task force. At the initial meeting, he noted that there have been many statewide initiatives that have created, as he said, quote, wonderful reports with excellent recommendations. But he went on to say that there's never any follow-up to determine metrics of success. Can this task force have a different outcome?
Well, that is in fact our intent. There is a massive body of white papers, research, information out there. Much of the work that we will be doing, we know needs to be done. It's educating the public, building the political will to do the work within the community, and shifting how we think about aging. So many people, when we talk about aging, focus solely on skilled nursing and long-term care. That is a part of the work that we need to do, but we have to build the understanding that so many of our older Minnesotans remain vibrant, they remain in community, and they want to go through their twilight years as active members in their community. So how do we make that happen?
Dr. Susan Brower is the state demographer. She presented to the group and provided data and graphs that point to an array of challenges that are on the horizon as the baby boom generation reaches age 75, when generally speaking, people's needs do become more acute. She stated clearly that these challenges are not hypothetical. They are coming. Is it possible, though, for the legislature to act in advance when most often the legislature tends to be a reactive body?
Well, I would say, Shannon, that we are reacting. You know, we have already over 750,000 people who are 65 and older. We are moving to 1.2 million Minnesotans who will be 65 and over for the foreseeable future. So the question is, how do we take the infrastructure that we have and make it better? And so I would say we are actually reacting. We are not being proactive. The body of research has been there for 30 years. So now how do we implement, and how do we build the coalition of state participants that will have the strength to help us figure out how we pay for this as well?
And we'll get to the paying for it in just a moment. But before we do, I want to touch on what you said about people wanting to remain active, because a recent headline from the American Psychological Association reads, quote, ageism is one of the last socially acceptable prejudices. Considering that the baby boom generation is the largest generation of Americans, and as you said, soon 1.2 million people over the age of 65, do our collective views on older Americans, older Minnesotans need to change? Do we need to look at our elders differently?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we had testimony in committee just this last week about what elder Minnesotans do. They provide the majority of child care or after-school care for their children. They are the volunteer workforce that you heard Dr. Gogler talking about in committee. There is so much that they do, whether they're tutoring in our schools, whether they're greeting you at your local community store, whether they're providing childcare. They're the volunteers who are driving people to medical appointments. They're the volunteers who are running our elections, or they're the election judges who are paid running our elections. They do so much important work in our community, and everyone deserves equal treatment. And ageism is something that needs to be eliminated. our older Minnesotans are valuable contributors to our community, and no one should be judged by their numeric age.
The Wall Street Journal this week published an article with charts on America's long-term labor crisis, which is expected, the labor force is expected to remain tight for many years. Mm-hmm. Experts cite a combination of baby boom retirements, low birth rates, shifting immigration policies, and changing worker preferences as reasons for this tight market. As a state, Minnesota already has a caregiver shortage, and you noted that's a small percentage of what impacts aging people. However, is this a focus of the group? Because as people, do get older, they do require more services, they do need more help. Do we have the workforce?
We do not, is the short answer. So the question is, what does that workforce look like? How many hours are we going to require people to work, and can we pay them livable wages, right? When you are caring for someone who has physical needs, it is demanding work. The question is, can we set up an infrastructure system that balances keeping people in their homes with what was described as the light touch, housekeeping, grocery shopping, helping with toileting or dressing or average daily activities for living? Can we keep people in their homes with light assistance coming in for a longer period of time? We are not going to be able to build ourselves enough skilled nursing facilities to care for people. People don't want to go to skilled nursing. They want to remain in community and remain vibrant. So again, this is the conversation that we have to have, and then figure out what steps we can take to make these things happen. But long-term care is a portion of what we need to talk about, but we need to also be talking about employment. We need to be talking about infrastructure. What does transit look like? In Greater Minnesota, we cannot expect an 83-year-old to be driving themselves 2.5 hours for a doctor's appointment in a blizzard. That's just not reasonable. So how do we bring health care to the community? Is it done by technology? Is it done by local clinics? These are all things that we'll have to decide.
And all of those things do have tax implications. Can you touch on that?
Yes, I am having those conversations right now with the long-term care community to say, can we help build a coalition to say, yes, there is a space in here where we know that we could maybe do something together to generate the revenue to cover these costs of investments that we're going to need. But it's also important that we think, if we go to the beginning of the drawing board and not wait to the end. So as we are thinking about building new transit, is the transit station we're building age appropriate? Is the community center that we're building age appropriate? Are we factoring in and embedding in all of our policies and all of our investments, what does this do as we age? And if we do that on the front end, we save money on the back end. And then building a coalition to say, yes, this may cost a little more in the front, but it will also help you as we generate revenue and keep our economy vibrant, right? So it's a balance.
So just briefly before we go, yes. I assume you're looking at regional differences, because the challenges of Greater Minnesota, as you mentioned, transportation, closeness to medical appointments, et cetera, are different than metro area stressors, which can just be the high cost of living. Are you going to have regional recommendations as well?
It is something that we definitely have to consider. In Minnesota, I don't know if we have like 8 different regions or 9 different regions, so the number's not clear in my head right now. But every section of our state will have different needs, and we do have to take that into consideration, whether it's the availability of care providers or the distance between where you live from your family. It all must be considered. And I would say there most likely will be regional recommendations.
Representative Ginny Klevorn, it has been such a pleasure. Thank you.
Shannon, it's great to be with you. Please reach out anytime.